Hi everybody and welcome back to Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, and welcome to the finale of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. Although this part is not going to be particularly interesting. We had the big boss battle last part where we were able to take on the Twilight Apostle and finally kick his ass once and for all. And now, during this part, we're basically back. We've been freed from his kind of domain, and we're back in the real world where where everybody's having this kind of Halloween celebration. Yeah, so we're back on Sunshine Road in the real world. Basically, there's only a few things left for us to do here. Basically, at this point, there's a couple of things there's basically a couple of things that we've got left to do. The first thing that we've got that we can do is that basically all of our party members and all of the major characters throughout the entire game, we have the option to basically go off and kind of talk to them and to to kind of say, hey, how's it going, and what's and kind of a final goodbye to everybody, as it were. And then the final thing we've got to do is we've got to meet up and finish the last part of the main story, which is us meeting up with Rem again and basically talking to her and getting I guess a final bit of conclusion throughout this for the entire story. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. Hello? Yeah, of course we can't. Like I say, pretty much every major character throughout from the entire game kind of pops up right at the end here to basically say their goodbyes, to kind of have everything come full circle, I suppose. So yeah, basically all that stuff that we've been doing, all these battles that we've been fighting in that alternative version of Morimiya, basically we've only been gone for an hour. So yeah, we've still got a bit of time, at least a little bit of time until we've still got a little bit of time until the game, until the final event, which is kind of the show which Spiker are putting on. By the way, I do kind of like that Wakaba, I think it was there, basically talking about the kid in cosplay, talking about June. I kind of like that. I thought it was pretty funny. So yeah, let's all meet up later. My apologies. Fuck my throat. So yeah, it's basically a reason for everybody else to kind of slip off and go off and do their own things, so that you can kind of go around the festival and kind of talk to them in a little bit. Time for everybody to fuck off. Yeah, so everybody kind of leaves Ko alone at this point. I think, if I remember correctly, I think we've got one Affinity Shard yet left. And I think you can use that to talk to hang out with one of the characters, or two of the characters actually, in one particular instance. You use one more Affinity Shard to kind of meet up with one more kind of person or a couple of people if you want to. I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm thinking about shit. Fuck off. I can't help but think that's kind of a little a little bit of a throw, kind of a meta joke, kind of a throw off to the player. You know, kind of like, yeah, you're beating the final boss. What's left to think about? You know, the eclipse is all sorted out and finished. So what's the point in thinking about this shit anymore? My apologies. My throat is fucking garbage at the moment. Why don't you grab someone and hang out for a while? Yeah, so basically at this point, you've got one more affinity shard, so you can choose to hang out with one person. Like, you're basically given a list, you can hang out with whoever you want to, and they're the people you kind of spend the remainder of the game with as you go around, kind of talking to everyone else. Yeah, so everybody who you spoke to, so when you were doing your job, the people who you spoke to, they're all people who you can speak to in the final section. So you could pick Asuka or Shiori on their own, and basically you can pick any of the characters that you want. But if you want to get, I think if you do all of the special events, you have the option to hang out with. Sorry, you have the option to hang out with Shiori, both Shiori and Asuka, so you can kind of hang out with both of them and just go off throughout the area and kind of talk to everybody. Yeah, I think it's pretty much set up here that the game wants you to pick the Shiori and Asuka option because it's the only one which has kind of like significantly different kind of dialogue compared to everybody else. Because if you hang out with like the one person on their own, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of generic, kind of happy to hang out with you, this is gonna be fun kind of bullshit. Whereas with Shiori and Asuka, it's very much kind of a they have their own kind of dialogue options, which are significantly different from everybody else. So yeah, I kind of like the fact that Asuka and Shiori are the ones to kind of be like, Coach, stop being a prick. We want to hang out with you, so why don't you just come with us, man? So I kind of like that. Yeah, they kind of push you. I think it's the fact that, you know, they're the only two characters, the only characters who are kind of a double act as well. So it's it kind of points towards, yeah, this is the option that the writers want you to pick, basically. So yeah. And now we basically just talk to everybody. There's basically a bunch of people who we can speak to here. We've got Ryota and Joe. Ryota. My fucking speak, you bitch. Ryota and June hanging out with Ryota's childhood friend. Chizuru, I think it is. Chizuru. What's kind of nice is that Ryota has kind of kept all the memories that he had before. So, you know, he remembers about all the stuff that happened with Shiori and all of the stuff that happened in the eclipse. So he kind of remembers everything. So that's kind of nice. Kind of a nice conclusion for him, I guess. Okay, so we see Mayu is hanging out with Yukino, and Sora is hanging out with Yuki. And I kind of like this. I kind of like that they continue with this thing with Sora and Yuki's. Sora and Yuki's relationship, where they're kind of like siblings, kind of like little siblings, kind of constantly messing with each other and stuff. And I kind of like the fact that she's trying to get him to go see his sister and father and all that. So it's kind of cool. We also have Mitsuki hanging out with Shio. I kind of like that the Ko kind of insinuates stuff about their relationship, and she's the one who's like, yeah, we wouldn't want to intrude on you three because of all the shit there's been. And I kind of like that Asuka kind of blushes a little bit at the mention of it. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little thing there. And of course, Mr. Goro is bothered by his fan club again. So he's kind of yeah, we'll leave him alone. Let him work shit out himself. And we got Rionu's hanging out. Rionu's hanging out with the rest of what's the name of the band? Fuck me, my brain's gone. It's Spiker. There you go. That's who it is. I'll remember. Kind of setting up the fact that they're going to be doing a performance. And Toa is hanging out with our grandfather. So yeah, we really do see like kind of pretty much everybody that we've met and spent a significant amount of time with throughout the entire game. So I think it's kind of a nice little ending thing to kind of talk to people and kind of get a little bit of closure with them and to get to see a little bit of their character, as it were. Like with here, where we find out that Sosuke knows about the Twilight Apostle and is kind of happy that it's his grandson that kind of finished the whole thing off. So once we've talked to everybody, we get one final little event. Basically, we hear a chime off in the distance, and we head off to this young girl. Who basically, Ko being very Ko being a very nice dude, basically understand thinks that she might be lost, she might have lost her parents or something, so we've got to help her out. So at this point, this is basically the point of no return. Basically, once you've spoken to this little girl here, that's it. The story progresses and everything's kind of done. And you can kind of tell who this is straight away. They kind of give it away with the subtitles. The fact that when she speaks, she's got blue light. The subtitles are blue. So yeah, basically it's Rem. To be honest, I kind of like this design for Rem. The kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The general kind of just little girl kind of attire. I think it looks it's a kind of a cool looking. It's kind of a nice looking design for her. But so yeah, it turns out that she pretty much knew about it. She pretty much knew about what was going on with the Twilight Apostle, but she didn't want to directly interfere because it's all down to it was all, she was basically leaving it all to us to kind of finish off and sort out. So yeah, this is pretty much the last bit of story that we get throughout for the game. Where we have one last talk with Rem. And yeah, she kind of goes back to her old attire. To be honest, it's still kind of nice, but you know, it was kind of interesting to see her in different garb for a little bit. So yeah, this is pretty much the last bit of story that we get. We just basically have to... I don't think they ever... I don't think they really do any explanation with her at all. They don't really talk about what she is. She's kind of left as kind of a mystery. She's just a thing that's around. If anything, it's kind of like Igor in the Persona series, where he's just a thing. Like, he's just there to kind of guide your main character through his journey, his or her journey, and is not really meant to be kind of explained. He's, you know, Rem is just a thing. She's just here. You know. Yeah, so Ko wants the answers to all the important questions. And apparently Rem knows all the answers because she is an observer, of course. Because it was supposed to include the appearance of the box. Yeah, I don't like that explanation. My apologies. But yeah, basically, Rem's explanation of why the Twilight Apostle appeared, why he appeared in Tokyo, why the Twilight disaster, the disaster was caused, why the box was created. Her answer is, this shit happened because it was supposed to, and basically all of us were drawn into it because we were supposed to be drawn into it, which in all honesty is it's something which I don't really like. It's kind of basically a very ambiguous kind of answer of, look, I'm here as an observer, you were all brought into this shit because you were supposed to be brought into it. This stuff happened because it was meant to be kind of it's just the fates conspired to allow all this to happen, and that's basically it. And we also get a little bit of a thing for her at the end, which is basically something is beginning. You're going to have to make another choice at some point, and I think there's basically I don't think it's really meant to set up anything. It's just basically like, if this was successful enough, they could do another they could do another game with another set of with the same set of characters or a different set of characters. Nothing's really happened since this game though, so I don't think we're gonna get a next kind of game, a kind of sequel to this. I think the EX Plus version of the game which added this final epilogue, I think this is pretty much all we get, and it's going to be kind of done. And now Shorty and Hiragi at this point and Asuka are basically like, dude, you don't have to think about all this all by yourself. There are other people around you who want to help you out, and basically you don't need to think about this shit. We can just continue on and just, just don't really think about this stuff too much. Just have fun with everybody before everybody goes their separate ways, if you know what I mean.
アスカがいてくれて、しおりが待っていてくれるなら、この先何があったとしても乗り。
そういうこと。
So yeah, pretty much the ending is pretty much, you know, there's not really a point in over analyzing everything that Rem said. Just if people have to deal with all this, then we'll deal. If something happens, then we'll deal with it together, kind of thing. To be honest, I don't think it's a bad message to kind of say, but whatever. So yeah, they point fun at this thing here, the fact that Ko is basically the, you know, it's the stereotypical dense anime protagonist kind of thing with Ko, and they kind of point and I don't know, make a little bit of fun of it, really. But at the end of the day, you know, look, it's still a trope. You can point and make fun of it, but it's still a fucking trope, dude. And again, I kind of like the fact that Shiori and Asuka have gotten, you know, they've gotten a little bit closer once again, and they're all, you know, and, kind of moving forward a bit, kind of thing. So I kind of like that as well. Motherfucker. Time to go. Yeah, time to head off. And so, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's kind of interesting that Mercuria is the one to announce Spiker, considering his thing that he had with Rion, where he was, you know, when he caused her such problems, where, you know, he was going on about you know, how idols really can't do anything, they can't change the world, it's not something, you know, then they're nothing kind of special. So I think it's kind of interesting that they kind of, because they do with this section, they kind of draw a line under the, no, sorry, it was during the previous section where they kind of drew a line underneath Mercuria and his thing with Rion and Spiker. So yeah, but anyway, this is kind of where we end. We kind of end with this kind of semi kind of musical number, where we have this bit of music right at the end of the game. I actually like this music. It's very nice and kind of you know, it's got a lot of chill vibes. I also kind of like that we see that everybody's kind of hanging out and, you know, and having a good time and enjoying themselves to end the game. So I kind of like that. Yeah, this music's quite nice. I think it's basically like a different version of the main theme, basically, from what I remember. So yeah, it's kind of a nice piece of music. Get Rem hanging out one last time before she disappears for good. Waiting for another game that will probably never happen. But yeah, that's the end of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. Like I said, I think overall it's a really great game. The combat is really fun. The story is pretty well done, and I think they do a good job with the characterization of all the characters, and we do end up, at least I did, I ended up really liking all the characters that we meet during the course of the game. I really like this artwork as well. It looks really nice. But yeah, it's a really great game. And the only negative thing I'd have on it is the final, is the epilogue, which I think is a bit too long. The after story is a little bit too long. And they could have shrunk it down a fair bit more and still, giving you a lot of game for it. Like, I think if they just had the final dungeon, then I think that would have been just fine. But yeah, overall, it's a great game, and I absolutely love it. Definitely give it a go. It's a lot of fun to play through, and the combat and story is really good. But anyway, that's going to be it for this playthrough. Join me next time. Next thing I'm doing is a bit of an oldie. I'm going back to the Zelda series with Ocarina of Time. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next playthrough.